All right. Now we're going to talk about nonlinear bioavailability as a source of nonlinearities in pharmacokinetics. So we talked about nonlinear intrinsic clearance, nonlinear binding, and now we're going to talk about nonlinear bioavailability. Remember, bioavailability is made up of three things: fraction absorbed, fraction that escapes the gut metabolism, and fraction that escapes the first pass effect. So FA is usually just due to passive diffusion, right? Now, and so you wouldn't think that that would be a source of nonlinearity, and it usually isn't. But there is a case of solubility where there's poorly soluble drugs. And so if you increase the dose of griseofulvin, for example, less and less of it gets absorbed because of because of its poor solubility, not because of a pharmacokinetic action. It's just that it's less in the form of being able to be, if it's not dissolved and soluble, it's too large to be absorbed by passive diffusion. So you can see for some drugs that are poorly soluble, the more you give, the less percentage you're going to get. So that looks like a nonlinearity, even though it's not really technically a nonlinearity. But then when we get to Fg, the fraction that escapes the gut metabolism, that's where we have the P-glycoprotein, which is that efflux pump. It's the bouncer of the body that moves drug that has made it into the gut wall and kicks it back out into the gut lumen. That's an active site that can be overwhelmed. So you can have P-glycoprotein actually overwhelmed, and you can also have the enzymes in the gut overwhelmed, just like they are in the liver. So you can have drugs that are actively transported from the gut to the portal system. And we didn't talk about the portal system, but we can have concentration dependent movement of drug like amoxicillin. So you can get to a ceiling of amoxicillin where you won't get as much absorbed. You can also overwhelm the gut enzymes and the P-glycoprotein. You can also overwhelm the enzymes that affect FH, or the first pass effect. Remember, high extraction drugs can exhibit concentration dependence because if the enzymes in the liver get overwhelmed, then more of the drug is going to make it through the liver, so your FH will increase. And this is really just another riff on intrinsic clearance. It's really just overwhelming those enzymes in the liver. But you can see for high first pass drugs where you can overwhelm the liver enzymes and the fraction unbound, or the fraction that makes it through the first pass effect, the FH will increase, increasing bioavailability. So you can have increases and decreases in bioavailability. So only high E drugs, remember FH, you may not remember this, but we can get FH down to being approximately blood flow over intrinsic clearance times binding. And really what this comes down to is nonlinear intrinsic clearance again, where if the concentration is in the same vicinity that you're achieving, in the same vicinity as the Km, it will become concentration dependent, and the fraction that makes it through the liver will start to increase as you increase the concentration. That's it for that one.